Hey guys, your boy BT Game Night coming at you on the YouTube channel. About to do our second ever EDH Commander deck tech. But before we get started, just have a quick announcement I want to make to you guys. I just want to really say I do apologize for the massive gap between this video and the last video we've done. These last few months have been crazy busy, whether it be relating to scheduling, work, not to mention other members becoming parents and so forth. It's been really an awesome yet crazy experience. So I just want to let you guys know we're going to have much more regular weekly content starting either later this week or at max next week. I can't show you because it's all packed up behind me how the camera's set up, but I have about 12 boxes behind me because I myself am actually moving to a new apartment coming up later this month. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started on our second ever EDH Commander deck tech. Now, the first video, if you guys didn't see it, it was Kali of the Vast, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do any more deck techs because I didn't know how people would respond, and to my surprise, whether it be on YouTube or on Twitter, you guys were very, very positive and very kind, so I want to say thank you very, very much. I know I don't have the most competitive decks. always have been, always will be a casual player. That's how I do. That's how I feel about EDH in general. If you want competitive, for me, there's Vintage. You can go wild on that, play like 10,000 counter spells. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so let's get started. Last time we covered the colors that made Mardu, which I believe is red, white, and black. Now we're doing Dimir with one of my favorite commanders, this gorgeous blue-black Queen of the Fae known as Oona. Oona herself is a 5/5 flyer for 6 mana, including 3 hybrid being blue or black. So already the fact that she's a massive body is great, and that she could kill somebody in 5 hits, commander damage-wise. But her other ability is really cool. Check this out. For X and then 1 hybrid, whether it be blue or black, you choose a color, and the target opponent removes the top X cards from his or her library from the game. And for each color you guess right, and the color you chose, you get a 1/1 blue-black fairy rogue with flying. That is awesome. Now there's many ways you could actually play this deck. For me, I prefer to use what I like to call the turtle method, where pretty much you just sit there and mill your opponent slowly but surely. It's a slow process. Yes, I've always been a fan of mill. I actually used to play kind of a cheesy one in Vintage, which was, I'm sure you've heard of it, Painter Servant and Grindstone, which usually would be an OTK or a 1-turn kill, sometimes even first turn kill if you had the mana for it. This, not so much. This is much slower, but I like it still, and it's still a great commander, and I'd hate to come up against this girl just as much as I did in my other video with Kalia. So let's have a look at the contents of this deck. First, I play 2 swamps. Yes, I'm kind of an anime nerd, as you can see here, so to forgive. I play 13 islands. Check out this awesome alternate art that a friend of mine did for me. See how cool it is? 2 islands that make a single picture. So as you can see, I play 13 islands. Then for non-basic lands, I play about 14, which I think makes a total of 29. So it's a little bit less than what I normally play lands-wise in the deck, but this was really, really hard to decide. Felt like being a kid in a candy store. So here are my non-basic lands. I got a Hideaway land in Sheldock Isle. I've got the lovely foil Halimar Depths. Then we've got Evolving Wilds, just to search for a color if I need it. Nephilia Drownyard, just for that mill. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. When you have a lot of blue permanents, this and Oona becomes BFFs. And you got Command Tower, an absolute staple in any EDH multicolor deck. Academy Ruins, you could do some fun mischief with this. Plus, if your opponent just plays a lot of artifact hate, you can just go like, alright, I'll just put it back to the top and replay it again. Then you have Inventor's Fair, which is cool because, I mean, hey, just because of the fact you have Metalcraft, yes, this deck has a lot of artifacts. If you have Metalcraft, gaining an extra life never hurt anybody. Gives you a colorless mana, and if you don't need it, you can always sack it to tutor for an artifact. So, absolutely great card to have. Then you've got Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. In case you're wondering why I only play 2 swamps, it's because I rely mostly on my blue spells, and the black spells I have more or less are just there to maybe get a few tutors out, or maybe in some cases if I really need to board wipe. And this card I often tend to pull a lot, so. Plus I have a few other black sources, as you can see here, like Underground Sea, Dimir Aqueduct, gorgeous Watery Grave. In case somebody likes to play control and steal my creatures, I play Homeward Path. I don't care what anybody says, I love the card. And Myriad Landscape. Another reason why I still play 2 swamps is because, you know, you can use this, go get them both. You have to have 2, right? But that's it for lands. I'll just put this off to the side here. In case you're wondering what this poster is behind here, I went to Comic-Con last year, and I got to meet 2 of the most famous cosplayers in the US, being Jessica Nigri and the equally cool and awesome Yaya Han. They've signed this poster for me, so. Anyway, moving on. Here's the milling portion of the deck. You've got Heteron Crab. This, turn 1, people not really happy to see this, especially if you're playing 1v1. Then you got Mind Grind. This card is a game finisher. Get a lot of mana late game with, say, like Nykthos, and you can mill everybody in one shot. Say maybe you go for like 10 or something, who knows. A great combo with Mind Grind is Consuming Aberration. This guy is one of the few times I actually go combat and go crazy on people, especially in a multi, because every time you cast a spell, each opponent has to essentially Mind Grind for 1. And then he gains, like I remember one game I Mind Grinded for 6 in a 4-person game, and he instantly became, I think it was what? 24 or something like that, after you know its own effect resolved and the Mind Grind itself. Then you have Ambassador Aquatus. This was the original mill dude. You probably see people running infinite combos with, say, like Power Artifact and Mana Vault, and this I don't really run that. I prefer not to. Still love it though. You got one of my first Planeswalker, Jace Belryn. And then we have a Sphinx's Tutelage. Underappreciated Sire of Stagnation. I still think it's an amazing card to play, considering just when your opponent plays lands, they have to exile 2 and you get 2 free cards? Heck yeah. And of course, standard card in mill, Traumatize. Chancellor of the Spires, get it in your opening hand, force somebody to mill 7. Yes, sir. My favorite Planeswalker in the deck, Ashiok Nightmare Weaver, which I pulled from a pack and I was so happy about it. This card also gets some great mischief early game. Another staple, Glimpse the Unthinkable, 2 mana, blue and a black, mill 10. Get like a twin cast of that and go mill 20. There goes 20% of somebody's deck. And last but not least, another usual card, Grindstone. Then we have my tutor cards. Cards let me get out cards from a deck that I may need. Of course, Trinket Mage needs no introduction. Mystical Tutor, go get your beautiful instance. Beseech the Queen, which I decided to play instead of Demonic Tutor in case I don't get black. Underappreciated tutor right here, Dark Petition. Go search your library for any card, put it in your hand, and with Spell Mastery, getting a 3 mana back from what you pay. Yes, I love that. Merchant Scroll. Go get yourself an instant, possibly a counter spell that you can use to stop your opponent's shenanigans. Fabricate, obviously, go get yourself artifacts. And of course, the last planeswalker, I believe, Tezzeret the Seeker. Its plus ability, great shenanigan with mana fixing, and its minus ability to go get artifacts into play. Love it. Don't think I've ever used its ultimate though. Next up is just to help me draw cards or get to where I need to be. You got Limdol's Vault. Please someone tell me in the comments if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, because I always keep messing it up. Of course, Brainstorm, great in any blue deck. Magus of the Future, well, you have the decision. You can either play Magus of the Future or Future Sight. I prefer the creature just cuz. If I need a blocker, I have a blocker. And Telling Time, which I'm still surprised it got turned into a common, because it was originally uncommon, I believe. Then, if I need a little bit of extra time to make moves to win the game, or if I'm about to go off, if I have one of these, always great. An extra turn, never hurt anybody. Walk the Aeons, and Temporal Mastery. I love that Temporal Mastery holo, it's so amazing. Now, of course, you have to have a little bit of ways to get rid of board presence, creatures, and such. For me, I play in Garruk's Wake to get rid of creatures I don't control and planeswalkers I don't control. Of course, Cyclonic Rift, one of the most godly cards in blue, especially in EDH. Neverill's Disc, in combination with that land I showed you earlier, over and over again you can keep blowing up all the permanents. Almost makes me wish I had a Darksteel Forge. And last but not least, the underappreciated Life's Finale, which is a great Wrath of God, which essentially also lets you mill 3 great creatures out of your opponent's deck. It's gonna make sure you have a counterspell waiting so that they can't you know, reoccur the creatures from the graveyard, or reanimate them, I should say. Next up's a little bit more for draw power. I've got Gush, Fact or Fiction, Fuff, the awesome Ristic Study, and this little guy, which is worth way more than I was expecting, Holo Ponder. Next up, I have what I call the Pillage Pile. These are cards that allow you to essentially get your opponent's cards and use them against them, or at least keep them in a place where you can see them, that they won't affect you in a negative fashion. Bribery. This I specifically used because I came up against too many people that kept playing things like Blightsteel Colossus. So taking their creature and beating their face in with it, I have zero problem with that. Twincast, copy a spell. Knowledge Exploitation. I specifically got this from David McDarby's video on Commander Versus. I don't know why, but I just love this card. Steal one of your opponent's instants or sorceries from their deck and put it in the... I just usually end up Wrath of God or Damnation if worst case scenario, but it works. Another card that I find underappreciated, Royal Elemental. If I had fetch lands, which I plan to get eventually for this deck, just the fact you can use a fetch land and steal 2 of your opponent's creatures while this thing is out, really great card. Then you have Steel Artifact, obvious like its name suggests, and last but not least, Vidalcan Shackles. Then we've got the wide array of counter spells, and yes, there are quite a few, because again, this is a turtle-based deck. You just kind of sit there on your heels and wait while your opponent sets the pace, and then you counteract against them. I play Syncopate, Last Word, Pact of Negation, Cancel, Rewind, Dissipate, Arcane Denial, Counterspell, love that picture, even though people mostly say the FM one looks better. Force of Will, of course. Yes, I'm too poor to afford the new reprints that I've seen that go for like $300-400 bucks. Mana Leak, Time Stop. This card I love, no one ever plays it but me, Decree of Silence. It's really hard to get out, there's way better, but if you get it out, you have some breathing room as far as I'm concerned. Plus you can cycle it to counterspell for 6 if you got nothing better to do. Simulgar's Command, another slight way of getting rid of creatures, bouncing permanents and stuff like that. And last but not least, counterspell standard Cryptic Command. For mana fixing, we've got Mox Opal, Wayfarer's Bauble, Darksteel Ingot, we've got a Mox Diamond, a Lotus Petal, Mistvein Border Post. You have no idea how many times when I play the game with people and I say this too fast, I end up making it sound like something else. Like Mistvein Border Post. Underappreciated card, Hedron Archive, love this card. Soul Ring, Dimir Signet, Solemn Simulacrum, Commander's Fear, and last but not least, Talisman of Dominance. And the last little bit of cards I play are just stuff that kind of help me in the long term. They don't have any grander purpose aside from, I guess you could say, additional boost, if you will. Like, for example, let's say I'm about to go off with my General or Ambassador Laquatus, I can end up milling more cards with this card. High Tide. Doubling all of your island values? Yes, please. Sculpting Steel, copy an artifact on the field? Yep, could use that. As foretold, now this card is predicted to be pretty brutal. I haven't really had the chance to play with it yet, but I really can't wait. Because I've only had it on the field up until about 3 counters so far, and it did save me once, so I do like this card a lot, but I'm sure I'll have much more to say about it when I play with more. Of course, Teferi, it's -1, just scream shenanigans. And last but not least, when your back is against the wall against an army of creatures, Propaganda is just there to got your back. It's basically the blue ghostly prison. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Mycalia of the Vast EDH deck, and this was our second deck tech. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I do apologize for the giant gap between this video and our last one. We will definitely have more regular content in the coming week or so, max 2 weeks. So if you enjoyed this video, you like the cards in it, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We do appreciate that. Also follow me on Twitter as well. The link will be in the description below. Give me all the comments that you can give me to help me make this deck even better so I can surprise my friends. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to you got a couple seconds, couple hours, check out our channel and join our game. See you next time.